This is how we're going to fill our water tank. Along the road, most places there's these little, like wells, I guess, little springs, and you can't really hook your hose to it, so we're improvising and holding the hose next to it.
I'm Kelsey, that's Tim, and this is our rolling home, Dusty. We've been following our dreams of traveling around the world, and after making our way south,
We did it.
very south, COVID brought us back to the US. But now, finally, it's time to explore again. So come along for season 2. We can't wait to see where this adventure takes us. Welcome back to Turkey. Since you last saw us, we had done some driving and got ourselves further into the country. We had made it through the capital city of Ankara, and like I said in the last episode, we had no idea what to expect from this country. And so far, Turkey was blowing our minds.
Good morning. Kind of a foggy, rainy morning, but this forest is beautiful. Turkey has been everything we had hoped for in terms of off-roading and getting remote that we look for in all the countries we're traveling in. And it's so difficult in so many countries to actually get remote. Turkey, we've had no problem. Just looking at the map at Google Satellite, looking for mountains or looking for areas without homes in the desert. But it's been so hot, we haven't really done much desert camping, just when we have to. But yesterday we were driving through the heat and through the big capital city even. And, a few hours later, we're up here on top of a mountain. Pretty cold, actually. We wore sweatshirts while we slept and actually used our sleeping bags. But it was like a nice cold. So it's just gorgeous. And this is just an old road. So up in these mountains, we saw lots of logging activity. This morning we heard guys walking, hunting some sort of bird. So we heard shotgun blasts, in the forest, which sounds scary, but it wasn't. Yeah, it's pretty cool. We've heard the bells on sheep. So we've seen shepherds walking around through these mountains. And there's occasional houses, but most of it's just wide open forest. And then we saw this road with, waist high or even higher weeds growing on it, knowing that cars clearly aren't going down it that often. Still could be somebody that lived out here and just doesn't have a car, gets to town on a horse or something. But it was worth a look. And of course we got to the end of the road here and it's beautiful. You can tell some people have camped here in the past, probably the loggers or the shepherds with a little fire pit and stuff. But yeah, beautiful. And just a perfect campsite where you can sleep well because you feel like you're not on somebody's space, not on their land. You used an existing road, but you could see no one else had been out it in so long. So it's my favorite kind of camping. We wish there was more of this actually around the world as we're exploring, but it's surprisingly rare. So Turkey has been amazing. And all the people are amazing too. Coming up the mountain yesterday, we were coming on some roads that very seldom used, I'd say, by travelers. And the looks you get are just shock that somebody that looks like us in this truck with that license plate is coming up through their town. And you just wave and they kind of, a little bit of shock and then smile really big and wave and are like, I don't know what that was about, but that was interesting. That's been a really cool thing in Turkey, is just waving at people and getting waves back, stopping at a gas station and getting fuel. And they do it for everybody, but getting you Turkish tea, or coffee or whatever you want while you're filling up the tanks. And not very many people speak English in Turkey, so it's been maybe a word or two. They say thank you, and they have about our knowledge of Turkish they have of English. So you can say thank you, hello, and then everything else is hand signals. So we bought some oil the other day for the truck, went in, was looking at oil, and just found an example of the weight of oil that I wanted and pointed at it. So It's been great. Yeah, been a really big change to the trip, I think. So I'm gonna quit blabbing and put you guys on the truck. So as we head out, you can kind of see what this trail looked like. It's pretty foggy and rainy now, but hopefully you get an idea of sort of like what the trails look like in the mountains of Turkey and just in general, even in the US, what I'm looking for when we find all these remote camps where you feel like you could stay for a week or two and never see another human.
I love the juxtaposition this country has. Old and new seem to perfectly mesh together. Well, this right here was our impetus to wander this direction, and it is probably the most expensive ghost town I have ever seen. Construction on these chateaus began in 2014. The plan was to build 732 of these little Disney-like castles, along with leisure centers, shops, and of course, Turkish baths. But after Turkey's economy took a bad turn in 2018, the developer went bankrupt, and everything came to a sudden halt. And in the end, only 583 of these mini castles got built, none of which was ever actually finished. They were all supposed to have in-floor heating provided by hot spring, as well as jacuzzis on every level.
Alright, so this is how we're going to fill our water tank. Along the road, most places there's these little, like wells, I guess, little springs, and you can't really hook your hose to it, so we're improvising and holding the hose next to it. But it looks like pretty clean, clear water, and people have said it's decent, so we have enough filters to not worry about it too much anyways, but that's what we're doing.
It really is crazy. Everything is just left. Stickers are still on the windows, building supplies sit waiting. What a strange place. Well, with our tanks full and our expensive ghost town seen, it was time to find camp. Turns out this area isn't only good for just Disney chateaus, it's also a great area for camping. And as we were realizing was normal for Turkey, a perfect little remote spot was easily found. We couldn't help but think this was the country Dusty has been waiting for. He was back in his element, as were we.
We make it level.
A few days later, we found ourselves heading up into some higher mountains, winding our way along one-lane roads, through amazing little villages full of friendly people. We were really feeling welcomed here in Turkey. know we will be spending at least a few days on dirt, we are down for some comfort. The clouds up here were moving so fast. The camera doesn't quite capture it, but it was pretty crazy. I don't think I have ever seen clouds move so fast.
It is chilly up here. I think we're at the top about 9,000 feet. And you can't see down there because it's all cloudy and foggy. But what a cool road. I think there's still some snow down there too, actually. Very dirty, cold snow.
We headed down the road and into the clouds. Livestock are a constant in Turkey, and so are these massive dogs called Kangal shepherds. They are an ancient breed from Turkey used for, you guessed it, protecting livestock, and they are everywhere here. They are said to have the strongest bite of any dog breed and can take down a wolf, which is pretty useful here. All I can say is they are impressive. I'll leave a link to a video about Kangals if you want to know more. They are some pretty special dogs, an impending guard and loyal family member. Sorry for the shaky footage. The GoPro battery had died, but this village was too amazing not to try and capture. One of the hardest parts of making videos like ours is getting decent shots while bouncing along bumpy roads. We might come around a corner to something amazing, and we shoot things as they happen, as we experience them. So hopefully you get a taste of how quaint this little mountain village was, even if it isn't the best shot. I still thought it was worth sharing.
So as I was filming this, I'm noticing that there's like a lot of steam coming off of this. So I had to feel it, and although not like hot, it's not as cold as it should be for up here. So I'm wondering if in the middle there's some like hot spring type water coming out of it. It's pretty cool, but it's definitely not as cold as it should be.
some mosquitoes out here. I gotta commend whoever did this section of the Trans-Euro Trail. It switchbacks up and over this mountain here. You can barely see, it's probably a little blown out. And then back behind me you can see those switchbacks going up. We actually came over this pass and down to where we're camping now. And at the end of this village, the road just ended, it was gone. And so we kind of parked and walked. Kelsey walked up and over the hill while I just held the truck on the brake. And you could just tell that it was no longer in use. And just grass, like we drove off into a grass field, but because we were following the Trans-Euro Trail, we just continued, and eventually it kind of got back onto a really rough track that was sort of there, still pretty grassy like all this, and led us here. So it's pretty neat. I'm glad that we stuck with it. It looked like it was dying out, and I kind of thought, I don't think anyone should be going this way. I don't know if we're allowed to. And sure enough, it was just a perfectly untouched grass field that ended up back on a track. So I don't think too many people are running the Trans-Euro Trail in Turkey, or at least this section of it, but we're really glad that we did. I'm gonna get back inside before any more mosquitoes eat me alive.
Well guys, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed this first taste of an incredible place, and I can't wait to share more with you. I have to admit it has been a while since a place has captured us, truly pulled us in, and Turkey has done just that. It is undeniable. Join us in the next episode as this country continues to unfold before our eyes. As always, thanks for watching. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time.